For one, my pockets have holes in them. For two, if they didn't have holes in them, and I could hold on to it, I think I would still twist it. I think that I would be able to get this idea from God, and like the idea being His love for me, what He did, and I can take it and then like I have it and it's mine now, so I can kind of dish that out to people. And even if I didn't have holes in my pockets and I could have it and I could dish it out, I still think I would twist it. And by think I mean no, because I've seen myself twist it. I've seen what I can do with this idea of Jesus that I have and these rules of Jesus that I've figured out. And then whenever I can dish them back out, it's just like when Jesus talks to the Pharisees and He says, you have a fine way of taking the commandments of God and twisting them into traditions of men. And I read that verse and I was like, oh my gosh, I can somehow, I'm amazing at taking what God said and making it mine and then like twisting it a little bit once it becomes mine to where I can manipulate it and still be in control a little bit. Still have my own agenda. Third thing about pockets is that if I could pocket it, didn't have holes, and I wouldn't twist it, then I wouldn't need Him anyways. If He gave me His grace and it was in the past, why would I need it tomorrow? Why would I need it the next week if it's something that was given to me? 1 Corinthians 15, 1 through 2 says, I want to remind you of, oh, that's a good quote too. I'm going to say that later, but it says, yeah, this is not Al's fault at all. I sent him this stuff like 15 minutes ago. But thanks for the most of it. That was payback. All right, well, the verse says, I want to remind you, notice that he needs to remind them, even though they're already saved. I want to remind you, brothers, of this gospel, which you received, That's not me there. I'm sorry, I'll just say it, because I think I know it. That's Galatians. This is, once again, my fault, not Al's. I want to remind you of this gospel which you received, in which you stand, and by which you are being saved. You heard it once, but you still are being saved by it. It's not something that you just received in the past, and you can just you're good now. You've got it. You've received grace. So now I can coast on that. I have this. I think that I have this reservoir of grace in which I've, or reservoir of like experiences in which I've grown closer to God. And because of those experiences of grace where God has given me this stuff, it's like, oh, well, I've got this reservoir here. So whenever I'm tempted to sin, I can tap back into this because I have all these experiences that have helped me out. I really do think that. I really don't believe that every single day grace is a gift. That grace is not something that I can assume is going to happen again. Maybe it always has, but once it always has, and the Bible says we'll always have grace, and it's just like, oh well, I'm good. I don't need it anymore. This is verse in Nehemiah. Oh, y'all aren't seeing that. Sorry. These verses are like scrolling through right here, and I think that's what y'all are seeing, but y'all aren't necessarily seeing that. This verse in Nehemiah says, check out verse 17. It says, they refused to listen and failed to remember the miracles you performed among them. And before that it says they became presumptuous. They became presumptuous. I don't exactly know the difference between presumptuous and assumptuous. Assumptuous isn't a word, actually. Assuming. I don't know. Peter Myers could maybe tell me. He was instructing me on English the other day, and it was pretty funny. But they're pretty much similar things with assuming something, and it's always happened, so formally it's going to keep happening. And so, yeah. I think that the grace that God wants to give us is different than all this, and I think it's something that we're constantly needing to have a posture of reception for. And if you want to throw the verse up there, the original one of 2 Corinthians, he says the love of Christ compels us. And I think that in some ways the whole gospel is summed up in that phrase. The love of Christ compels us. Because later on he says, he made him who knew no sin to be sin on our behalf, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. But that whole phrase is summed up in the phrase, the love of Christ the gospel of Christ, what he did, compels us. And so this passage is actually talking about we need to go, we need to be, we need to do and love others. But the thing I kind of want to focus on is the fact that it's Christ's love that compels us. It's what Christ has done and is doing in our lives that is the only motivating factor that can lead to anything good. Anything else that is driving you, anything else that's, kind of your motivation for what you're doing, may look good for a while. And for me, I can get it looking good for quite a while with behavior modification. I can kind of take what God's given me and the rules He's told me and start following those and modify my behavior in such a way that it looks like I haven't been sinning in a while. And it looks like I'm doing good. It doesn't look like I need grace, which is scary to me. And so, self-deception is a scary thing. It's one of the things I want to say tonight. It's a really scary thing. It's scary that I can be completely incapable and then also be self-deceived as to my own incapabilities. I can be forgetful and then be completely self-deceived as to my own forgetfulness, but it's like 10 times worse for my own abilities. And so the last story I want to tell you guys is it concerns a guy that I had in the classroom with me a couple semesters ago, and he was in this class with us, and he comes in and he's all like padded up, and he's got like a do-rag, and he's dressed like a biker gangster, and honestly, like I hate saying this up on a stage, but like I really do think that we kind of have this impression of white trash, because that's the best way that, maybe it was just me, but in my sinful state, it was just kind of like, what is this guy? This guy stinks, and he looks weird, and he doesn't use smart words like we use. He's just like whatever contractions and slang and stuff. And so like we're in this class on marriage, and he keeps saying these things that are just so dumb. Like they're not true. And like all of us from our Christian upbringing know these basic things about marriage, and these basic things about like selfishness. That he's just like, well, I do whatever I want with my wife, and it's like, okay. And 3 weeks later, we kind of just had this whole like, don't even lie. I cringe whenever he speaks. And I'm reading and I'm doing a Bible study, because that's what you do at JVU. I do lots of them. And they were like, what does it mean to love your enemy? And I'm talking about it all. And all of a sudden, I realized that an enemy is someone who's like most difficult to love. An enemy to me is someone who's most difficult to love. And for me, it was this guy. He's not someone that's maybe like this I don't know, Muslim on campus that's like, oh, we can go share the gospel with him and help him out, or these other objects of our affection that we can see that may be beneficial to us or attractive. But this is like the most unattractive guy to like, because he thought we were dumb and we thought he was dumb. And it just hit me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am such a hypocrite. And this is just one story. This happens with my friends, it happens all the time. Maybe it happens with you too. But I'm just like, I am such a hypocrite. How dare I presume upon Christ's grace to me to where somehow I'm elevated above him to where like I have this grace that God's given me and he doesn't have it. So like he needs to get it or something. I don't know what our attitude was. It's kind of this guy. And it broke my heart, and it actually didn't fully break my heart yet. It did later when I started talking to him, and I find out he's only had one guy in the entire history of JVU, 3 years, that's ever really tried to be his friend. He said. There's one guy, and the rest of it, he's just like, because I was talking to him, he's like, basically, we fit the mold that he kind of expected from Christians. He said that we looked at him externally and tried to see what we could get out of him. He didn't say it was exactly, but basically like, he said when he came to JVU, he was all dressed up and looking nice because he came off work. And then, professors and students, he liked professors more than students, which is kind of sad. I don't know if it's professors. But I expected us to be like this awesome body that was like, he was going to see the love of Christ in us because of what Christ has done for us, because of his reconciliation, which is what this passage is about, which is that we didn't deserve anything, but he gave it to us, and that we turned from him, but he continually turns to us, and he gives it to us. I thought that we would, having experienced that, we would just be this, and not only was I not that person to him, but apparently we weren't. And so the story doesn't have a great redemptive ending. He left, he goes to U of A now, and I texted him to ask him if I could mention the story, and I was like, how's it going? He's like, oh, it's better than JVU. Cool. And so it breaks my heart that I'm that self-deceived, and that religion can do that to me, that I can elevate myself. You can throw that quote about religion, if you'd like. Religion is the possibility of removing any ground of confidence except in confidence in God alone. Except confidence in God alone. And I think that's what we do whenever we presume upon God's grace and pocket it. It's no longer something that we completely take this posture of neediness. It's like we have it already a little bit. And just a little bit. Like, I think we're good at just adding a little bit of us and still being able to pull the cushiony phrases and stuff to where we can still get what we want. And so that's all I had to share. And I want to conclude with just saying again that grace is always a gift. And you can't pocket it. His love compels us. His love compels us to be just beggars who found bread. Not someone who's going to someone who needs bread and giving it to them because we have it. Because the second we have it, it's going to feel good. It's going to be good that we have grace with how twisted our hearts are. And so we're just fellow sinners, saved by grace alone. And the thing that gets me, this is the application for me, is that the question I ask myself sometimes is, am I more afraid to confess to my friends? Or am I more afraid to say something to where other people will know than I am to confess to God? Because sometimes when you're confessing to God, it's almost like He's not real. It's like you're confessing to this idea of God, like this fairy tale person that's up there, like, okay, yeah, I did this stuff. And that's not what he means by being reconciled to God, because later on Paul says, he doesn't say anything else. He doesn't say, go do this, go love people, go try harder. He says, be reconciled to God. And I don't think that that's what it means to be reconciled to God when you're somehow able, something's wrong when I'm more afraid of what people think of me or what my friends might think of me when they see who I really am than caring what God thinks and being reconciled to God. So that's Paul's encouragement to you guys. That's my encouragement to you guys, to be reconciled to God. And that reconciliation consists of neediness, constant reception of His grace. So let us not be Christians who have Jesus and stop there. People who just have Him, and it was in the past, but let us be those who need Jesus also, and we receive His love, and our whole lives are a response to grace. I want to end with this quote by Spurgeon. If your sin is small, then your Savior is small also. But if your sin is great, then your Savior is great. And He is great. God, I thank you so much for this chance I just got to speak a little bit. I ask that you would use it for something great. God, I just ask that whatever you want to do with people that are here, whether it be from anything I said or whatever you're doing in their hearts, God, that you would just speak to them, God. The two things would happen. That one, you would speak, and two, that they would listen and be receptive of whatever it is that you're telling them to do, and that they would go do it, and there would be nothing more important than getting done what they feel like they need to do or what they know